Hello, everyone. This is Alima Podcast. Today, we want to talk about bodybuilding and the fitness industry. Our guest today is Corey. He will drive us. He will help us understand what's going on in the business and the fitness industry. Hello, Corey. How are you?
Good. How you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, man. Before we jump into our topic, I want to thank you to accept our invitation.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it. You're always in here working hard, so it's
Okay.
good to sit down and talk with someone like yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Tell me more about yourself. Who is Corey?
Well, so I started working out probably 36 years ago, believe it or not. 14, 15 years old. Opened a little gym, and my grandparents had an 8x10 shed off the back of the house, and I ran some power out to it. I got some benches, some dumbbells, pull-up bar, a little radio, all kinds of pictures of all my favorite bodybuilders, and ever since then I've just been crushing it, trying.
Okay. Did you born and raised in Cape Cod?
Yeah, I was born in Boston, Dorchester, but I've lived Chatham most of my life. A couple of towns outside of Boston, Weymouth, Quincy, but mostly on Cape Cod. Yeah.
Okay. What's your education background? Did you go to college?
So I went to 2 years at Springfield College for health fit,
Mm-hmm.
and then I transferred to UMass and I did exercise science.
Okay.
I didn't do an actual training certification because in Massachusetts, believe it or not, you don't have to be certified, and
Yeah.
a lot of the accreditations, I just found they were kind of just a group trying to get money. So I wanted to make sure I trained people on what I've actually experienced, and rather than what I just read in books. So
Okay. How did you start the fitness like a business? How you jumped from?
So a good friend of mine who used to be one of my partners here at the gym, he came to me and he said, "Hey, I want to open a gym. I'd like to have you be part of it." And I was like, "I'm sure, I'm down for that." We were workout partners for years. Went to a lot of the gyms around on the Cape and had a good grip on what we thought would make a good gym. So we went through all the hoops here in Chatham. It was tough. We had to go in front of the board to allow fitness in this Independence Park.
Yeah.
But we got all that stuff passed, opened the gym, and my goal was really to just run the gym. But what had happened is we had a bunch of people come recommended to be trainers, and they're supposed to be really good trainers. And I was watching them, and I just didn't like what I was seeing. So I started helping some people for free on the side, like friends, and training them. And then people saw me training, and they kept, "Hey, can you help me? Can you help me?" And then finally I said, "You know what? I could probably just do training." So my wife quit her job, took over the desk here for me, and then I just started training people, and from there it's just been rolling.
Why you guys choose Chatham?
Chatham?
Yeah.
Because I think growing up here, there was no gyms. We didn't even really have a gym in the school. We had a couple of pieces of equipment in the school, but we just didn't have anything. The nearest gym was like 3 towns over, and it wasn't a very reputable gym. I'm not going to say any names, but a friend of mine's father had owned this lot.
Yeah.
And I had said we were trying to do a gym. He's like, "Hey, my dad's got a lot. He's not sure what he wants to do with it. Draw something up, and we'll see if he's interested."
Okay.
So we literally drew a little sketch on a little piece of paper. It wasn't engineered. It wasn't anything. We went to him. His name is Dan Missouri, great guy. He has since passed away, but great guy, one of my favorite guys. I grew up with his kids, brought it to him. He loved the idea, and that we rolled from there. He built us this building.
Okay.
So,
Where do you guys find the money? You take a loan, financial loan?
well, that's another good story. So this was 2008 that we opened. If everybody remembers, 2008 economy crashed.
Exactly.
We had gotten the loans to do stuff. We had some money to put in. And then what we did was, when we were ready to open, we had a line of credit. Yeah. That was what we were going to use to operate the gym. 2008 hit and everybody panicked. The banks panicked. They pulled it. So we had no money when we opened the doors. We had a $9,500 a month equipment lease and a $9,500 building lease.
Wow.
And we had not 1 cent in the bank. And we made it through. So that will tell you how much needed this place was for this area.
Oh, wow.
We struggled a bit, but we made it through.
Okay, what's a big challenge to manage a gym?
Back then, I would say it was mostly, staff.
Yeah.
trying to get good people to work. We worked every hour. I worked six 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And then my partner worked 6 12-hour days. So we both overlapped a little bit.
Yeah.
Once we got to a position where we could take the weekends off, then we hired people for the weekend so we could at least have a weekend day off. And it just went from there. But, you know, there's a lot of things that people don't realize. Upkeep and the equipment is expensive.
Yeah.
Electric is expensive, especially now. Electric is expensive. Heat, all that. AC is crazy.
Yeah.
And then keeping the gym clean is probably one of the hardest things.
Exactly.
You have to have a cleaning company. We've tried to do it ourselves, and it's just not something you can do. And believe it or not, people will come in and they'll take a tour. And if the gym isn't clean, it doesn't matter what equipment you have. If it's just a mess, people don't like that. They want to have a clean gym. They want to have a clean locker room. If they got to go to work afterwards and they want to take a shower and they don't want to feel, you know, all gross. So you got to keep a gym clean too.
Is a gym business a profitable business?
If you have the right partners, I have a new partner now. He came in 2 years ago. Very, very, very intelligent businessman. Changed how we were doing things. We weren't doing things, I would say, very efficiently the first 14 years. With him in, it's been night and day. So yeah, it's good.
It's a profitable.
It's profitable if you do it the right way.
What's the right partner for you?
Well, he just, you know, there's little things that I designed the gym. Like I picked out all the equipment. I could design you the most incredible gym if you give me the budget. But it's the running it. It's the insurance.
Yeah.
It's the inventory on the drinks, inventory on clothing.
Yeah.
Memberships, making sure that people are paying their memberships on time and not sliding a week or two and then they renew it and then they get a free week or two. Every last little detail has to be paid attention to, which is something that I was probably not doing the first 14 years. And now with someone like that who knows how important that stuff is, it's night and day.
Okay.
It makes
I think that you do is a personal trainer. Is a personal trainer profitable?
Very.
Profitable.
Again, you have to be on time. You can't be canceling on people all the time because you're your own boss.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of trainers that they don't do well because they're canceling or they're late. And you have to be personable.
Can somebody be a personal trainer full time? And make
that's what I did for quite a while. I mean, when we opened the gym, after I stopped managing and I started just personal training, like I told you before we started, I was doing 35 to 40 hours a week. You could do the math on that. An average trainer makes between $50 and $70 an hour. Okay. So,
how did you deal with COVID? What's happened? You closed the gym. It's another problem too, man.
So, I'm a very stubborn person.
Yeah.
If I know something to be right, then I'm gonna follow it that way.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anyone else says. So when we closed, I closed for the 2 weeks that everyone said, what they said, hey, everybody's gonna close for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Then they came out with I don't know if you remember this phase program where they started opening specific businesses according to how important they were. So if they were deemed a necessity, as soon as I saw that, I opened. So a lot of people that maybe are new here don't know, but I didn't close. I stayed open. I fought the state. I fought the town. I was fined. I was given cease and desist orders. The Board of Health came every day, gave me a hard time, but I was very polite, professional. I just told them, I have a job to do. I have a gym to run. If I keep this gym closed, it's going to close forever. I'm not closing it. People need a healthy outlet. I said, you have liquor stores open. You have marijuana stores open. You're deeming them a necessity. Well, this is a necessity for people who don't partake in that stuff.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is people who have had substance abuse problems replace that with the gym.
Yeah.
If you take that away from them and then you take their job away from them and you can't go to the beach and you can't go to a club, they're sitting around, doing nothing. They're going to go back to drinking. They're going to go back to the drugs.
Exactly, yeah.
When I did open after the 2 weeks, I had people, grown men, coming in with tears in their eyes. Like, this was the closest I've ever been to falling off the wagon in 8 years because I couldn't come to the gym. So when I opened, I just stayed open. And what was cool was we did get fined. We ended up paying $1,000 in fines total. That was it. But members and people around the town that heard I was fighting donated money towards the fines.
Wow, that's good.
We ended up with $10,000 in fine money, but only had to pay $1,000.
Okay.
So we had a $9,000, over. Yeah. So what we did was we bought new flat screen TVs, about 3 pieces of equipment, paid the electric, gas, everything, and we were able to stay open. There's a lot of gyms that never opened again after COVID. And I wasn't going to be one of those gyms.
You think smart,
So,
man.
well,
You think smart.
The way that some stuff was handled,
Yeah.
it wasn't, you know, I mean, I had people coming in who were respiratory specialists at the hospital who were like, look, the little mask stuff, they're like,
Yeah.
that's not, they would show me what they had. They had the big canisters, and I had ER doctors coming in every day. They were just like, this is what people should be doing to stay healthy. It helps your immune system. It keeps you healthier. And we never had an issue. I tracked everybody. I did everything else I was supposed to do, but I just didn't close. We never had an outbreak of COVID in here, not once.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I'm glad we did it, because we wouldn't have been open. We would have closed forever, and we wouldn't be sitting here.
Like another one.
You know, we would not be sitting here doing
Yeah,
this.
sure.
You wouldn't look as good as you do because you wouldn't have this gym.
Thank you, man. Another thing that I want to ask you is about your participating in a competition.
Yeah.
Fitness competition, right? What categories are
So I've done men's physique
men physique? Where?
and classic physique.
Where?
I competed in New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Mass.
Okay. Is it like amateur? Is it professional? Or?
No, amateur. So the way it works, I did a different division. So I did NPC. There's OCB, which is natural for life. There's NPC. Then IFBB is the professional level of NPC.
Yeah.
So to become an IFBB pro, you have to win the nationals and NPC. So you'd have to do a regular show, qualify for nationals, go to the national show, win the national show, then you win your pro card, and then you can compete as a pro.
Okay, you still do it?
No, there's a guy in the gym that comes in. I'm sure you've seen him, Ty. He was getting ready to do a show, and I had never done a show before, and I was 45, gonna be 45. So I was like, you know what? I'll diet with you and see if I can do it and see how I like it. So I dieted with him for the whole thing, got, lean, was ready to do the show, but I didn't do it. He did it, and I said, hey, next show you do, I'll do it with you. I ended up doing like 6 more shows. Best I did was a couple second places. So I qualified for nationals. But, I'm 52 now, so not that that's old, because I don't play that card, but I learned a lot about nutrition. I learned a lot about some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to help people do it now if they want to do it and give
Like
them
a mentor,
my experience.
Right?
Yeah.
Mentorship, yeah.
But
you do it for free?
yeah, anybody I help with that, I just
A
help.
lot of young guys come here to ask.
Yeah, I just give them the advice. I help them with the diet
Yeah.
for free. I don't charge for that
Okay.
stuff.
How do you prepare yourself for competition?
What I like to do when I was competing is I like
Yeah.
to stay in the shape where I don't need any more than 7 or 8 weeks to be competition ready. So that 2 weeks into the diet, or the strict diet,
Yeah.
I already start seeing a very big difference. A lot of guys will do like 12 or 16 weeks.
Yeah.
That first 5 or 6, 7 weeks, they're not really seeing anything yet, and a lot of guys get frustrated, and then they start cheating a little bit, and they're not. So I like to try to stay almost like a pre-diet, so I'm in pretty good shape. Then when I really drop the calories and I really get strict, within 2 weeks I start seeing the abs coming in hard, and then the motivation just clicks, and you're like tuned in.
Okay.
I advised a lot of the people who I'm like, do a little pre-diet, like cut some stuff out slowly, get to a certain body fat, and then really hammer it. So that's how I did it. There's all different ways to do it.
Exactly.
So everybody's a little different, and
Yeah.
depends on how much discipline you have. It also depends on what you're doing for work. Some of these guys that are landscapers and builders, it's hard because they're doing a lot of manual labor. I'm in the gym. I can sit in here. I can eat anytime I want. I'm not burning a lot of calories throughout the day.
How you divide your nutrition plan? You 6 meals a day?
I
or
do
something
5
like
meals a
5?
day, 1 meal every 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I carb cycle, so I'll go a high day of carbs,
Okay.
a low day, a middle day of carbs,
Okay,
really low.
You start your day with the what? Your breakfast. Your first meal.
So it might be cream of rice
Yeah.
and egg whites for the first meal.
Yeah.
Second meal is just going to be basically what I'll do is I break the protein up. So let's say I'm going to do 180 grams of protein a day.
Yeah.
I'm going to break that up into 5 even portions with each meal. I don't do like breakfast, lunch, dinner. I just eat. Like when you're doing a competition, you're just eating for performance. So it doesn't matter what the protein is. So it might be salmon in the morning. It might be egg whites in the morning. It might be cod. It might be steak. It might be chicken. Just depends on where I am mentally. And then at the end of the night, it might be egg whites, or you know what I mean. So I just try to get my 35 to 40 grams of protein, depending on my carbs for the day. That divided dose of carbs, and then my fat. So I do it according to my weight. I have a equation that I use. So like if I was going to help you out, I'd figure out how much you weigh, what we think you got to lose, figure out the protein, carbs, and the fat for the day, divide it into 5 meals, and then that's all you do.
Exactly.
With a ton of water.
Okay. And usually, what do you eat before and after workout?
So I try not to eat too close to my workout. I try to do a meal about an hour and a half before workout. And typically I'll try to have a good amount of carbs before that workout.
Like what? Banana, something like that?
If I'm doing a show, it's more like rice, potato, sweet potato, cream of rice, that kind of stuff. Okay. After I eat, I'll usually just go high protein and fat, and I won't do a lot. I don't do a lot of carbs later in the day. Try to use all my carbs before I work out so that I get a good workout, and then the second part of the day is more protein and fat.
Okay. What about the pose for competition? Did you have somebody to?
I did everything myself.
Oh, really? Where you find all these poses? Something like somebody to.
I'm like I said before. I'm kind of a stubborn guy. I don't like to ask for a lot of help. I like to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd rather make 5 or 6 mistakes on my own and learn from them and do better. Then go and pay someone to do it, or ask someone. And it's not that I have anything against asking anyone, but I feel like you learn it more when you just do it by trial and error. So the diet was trial and error for me. The posing was trial and error for me. The pre-posing pump, like what I'm supposed to eat before I pump up, I've made all those mistakes. Not enough water, too much water, not enough carbs, too much carbs. But I feel like if you do it on your own, you really learn it.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to ask anyone. But there's a lot of coaches out there. There's some great coaches on Cape that are around that I tell people, give this guy a call, give this girl a call. Just for me personally, I've done a lot of things on my own in my life, so I just like to do it on my own. I get the gratification. And it doesn't matter if I get 5th place and I learn from it, and the next time I get 4th or 3rd or 2nd, that's okay.
Okay. Did you have a sponsor?
No. Typically, you get sponsors when you turn pro. Yeah. Unless somebody really likes you. We've helped some people out here with some stuff through the gym, sponsored them, help them with like the cost of signing up or something like that. But I didn't. I did everything myself.
Yeah, but even if it's not a pro, but you spend a lot of money with that food, stuff like that.
Yeah,
nutrition, vitamin.
But I'm gonna work like you're gonna work out anyways, right? Like you're not doing a show. You haven't done a show.
Yeah, I did just one time.
Okay.
In Europe.
But you're still working out.
Yeah.
And you're still eating right. And you're still doing the stuff. So you're not paying any more for the food and stuff because you eat that way. It's more like the registration fee and that kind of stuff, or like staying in a hotel if you're traveling. Yeah. You could get a sponsor, but again, I like to do stuff on my own.
Okay, what about the vitamin? You have some vitamin?
I don't do any I've done like creatine,
magnesium, stuff like
I
that.
don't. I make sure I get enough food. Once, so one of the gyms I used to go to, guys, the older guys, this is when I was one of the younger guys. Yeah. Were always, I take this supplement and this vitamin, and I take this and that. And one guy walked up, he's in great shape. He goes, you know what I take? And we all listen. He's like, food. If you get enough food, you don't need all that extra stuff. And if you think about what is a supplement is something you add to your diet if you're not getting enough of something. But if you're getting enough well-rounded food, vegetables, everything, you pretty much get everything you need. So I don't take, I've never taken like a multivitamin. I don't do the BCAAs. I don't do amino acids. Creatine, I've done the creatine, and I do believe in creatine.
Do you believe in creatine?
I do believe in, it's probably one of the only things I believe in.
Oh, really?
Say that again?
Well, why do you believe in creatine?
I've done it. And it's worked. I definitely gotten really strong, been really solid, good, great workouts. I'll do like 8 weeks on, 8 weeks off, 8 weeks on. I don't stay on anything for too long like that. Yeah. But I've always gotten good results from it. Like I noticed the strength within 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah. So
creatine versus whey protein.
I don't do a ton of. If I'm on the run a lot, I'll do a protein shake if I just have to. But I'm not a big. I do the ISO 100. You seen that whey protein?
Yeah, they have a lot of brands.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. There's the plant-based now, and I'm just not a big.
You fan?
It's not that I'm not a big fan. I have plenty of time to eat.
Okay.
You know, if you're like I said before, if you're a builder or you're a landscaper, and you can't stop every 3 hours to have a regular meal, you know, it's great to have a protein shake, crush a protein shake, whatever you got to do. But for me, I'm in the gym. I have a microwave. I have a toaster oven. I have a refrigerator. I have a coffee pot. Like I have a full kitchen, so I get to eat every 3 hours a good meal, so it doesn't. I don't have to worry about that. I'm lucky.
Yeah. What about the pre-workout? Did you use a pre-workout?
I do sometimes.
What kind of that?
I use citrulline and arginine. So what I've done in the past is looked at some of the pre-workouts and basically found exactly what is the ingredient that you need out of it, and gone and gotten just that ingredient, rather than all the other extra chemicals that are in some of the stuff. So like I said, citrulline and arginine, and then just some coffee is a great pre-workout, because the citrulline and the arginine will give you that pump.
Exactly.
Caffeine from the regular coffee is all natural. But then every once in a while I will do, you know, I think I just bought the Cosmic Burst, not Berserk. It's, I forget what it is. It's one of those pumps up, and it's great, but I try not to live on too much of that. I don't want to be too much like Ghost or Monsters or any of that stuff. Every once in a while, if I'm really dragging or I really want to get a good workout, I might throw one in, but I don't live on them. Like
what about Red Bull and stuff like that?
Not a big fan. I mean, I've had a Red Bull and vodka, but no, I don't do a Red Bull. I'm more of a. My go-to is just 3 or 4 capsules of citrulline. Yeah. 2 arginine and a half a cup of black coffee, and I'm usually pretty good. Me and music is my pre-workout.
Another thing I wanna ask you is after workout, take a shower with hot water or cold water? Does it matter, or is there ever difference on that?
I've never even explored that.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people like the ice baths and the cold stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not really a fan of an ice bath. Not because I don't think it works, just because I don't like what it feels like.
Yeah.
So, and you know, again, like I said, I'm 52. I'm hanging in there, and I'm kind of sticking with the stuff that have gotten me here. So,
okay, like a personal trainer, what's the best process to lose weight?
I think the same way I told you how someone does a show with a little less extreme, but you got to eat the small meals every 3 hours, and what that does is it gets your metabolism going. So the people who are like, oh, I only eat once a day or only twice a day, what they're doing is they're slowing their metabolism down, and they're storing fat. I've always broken it down like this: if you ever been a fireplace person, where you get a hot fire going and you got a hot bed of coals, you can throw almost anything in there, it'll burn up. If you get your metabolism going, which is through small meals frequently, when you want to cheat, you want to have an ice cream, or you want to have something here and there, it's not going to affect you. You're going to just burn right through it because your metabolism is going.
Exactly.
So what people need to do is they need to eat that small meal every 3 hours. They got to figure out calories wise. Like I said, I mean, it's pretty much the same type of diet with a little less extreme to it. And I've given it to, so the same diet I would do for a show, I've given to some of my 70-year-old, late 60s clients that just want to lose weight, and the ones stuck to it, they'll drop 20 pounds, they're like, I'm back in the same dress I was in when I was in high school. So it works, but you got to get your metabolism going. So you got to eat small meals frequently throughout the day, high protein, moderate fat, and low carb.
Okay.
No sugar. The sugar is really everybody's biggest problem.
It's a poison.
Because it's in everything.
Yeah.
And it's addictive.
Exactly.
You know? So.
Okay. What about a pregnant woman? Can they exercise?
Yeah. So the general rule of thumb that I've always not only researched but I've always preached is if you're working out and you become pregnant, keep working out. You don't have to change anything up until maybe you get to that last month or so. They might tell you, slow down, no jumping and all that. You got to listen to your doctor as well. But if you get pregnant and you've never worked out a day in your life, you don't run to the gym and start crushing it. Because now you're really shocking your body. Now it's like, well, what's going on? We never worked out, and we have a baby. So you can't. You can start walking and eat better, but you don't want to come in and start crushing weights that you've never done your whole life, right? I've had people in here. I had a Marine in here, a girl, and she was running on the treadmill, and her due date was 5 days away, and she was running on the treadmill like nothing.
Wow.
because she's always been running on the treadmill
Since beginner. Yeah.
so it wasn't any shock to her body, and she wasn't overly heavy, and she was able to do it. So I've had people in my boot camp pregnant. I've had 3 women at the same time in my boot camp when I used to teach a boot camp. People thought it was a prenatal class. Like they're like, is he doing a prenatal? I'm like, no, it's just there's 3 people that got pregnant at the same time. They're working out right up until the last 2 weeks of their pregnancy.
Wow.
They have the baby. The recovery time is so much faster because they're in shape.
Yeah.
They're right back in the gym 2 weeks later, and they get the weight off quick. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Oh wow. Okay. What about diabetic people?
Diabetic?
Yeah.
They just have to really monitor their blood sugar. You know, we've had some people in here there's a lot of people in here that you would probably know that are diabetic.
Do you have a specific program for?
I have not worked with anybody that's been diabetic. I mean, there's some girls that come in and, you know, they monitor themselves. We keep some stuff here, sugar for low blood sugar if someone does have that issue, but that's not something I've dealt a lot with.
Okay. Let's go talk about anabolic steroid. It's good or not?
This is a good question.
Direct question, man.
No, it's a good question. It depends on who it's for, right? Like it's all individual. I think the first 2 questions someone has to ask themselves is, do they need it?
Yeah.
Or do they want it? Need would be something like, hey, I could become a professional something or other if I do a cycle, if I get a bit bigger, faster, stronger, you know, like the movie. And then want is just if someone just wants to be a bigger version of whatever they are. I think what people have to weigh is the pros and cons, the health benefits, the risks, all that, the age, and basically just whether they're going to be smart about it. And when I say smart about it, I mean, there's certain steps you got to take if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Blood work you need to do on a regular basis to see where you're at. You know what I mean? You can't be drinking alcohol, doing other drugs that some people do. And why? Why do you want to do it? Like, why do you want to do it? You know, is it smart for a 25-year-old who just started lifting? No, put some time in the gym, see what you can do naturally, get to whatever point you can. And if you've exhausted every technique you've learned and you've tried all the over-the-counter stuff and you've hit your genetic potential and you still want to be 20 pounds heavier, that's going to be your call. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it's wrong, and I'm not going to say it's cheating, because that's what a lot of people like to do. Oh, it's cheating, and, you know, they're not doing it the right way. Well, is liposuction cheating? You know, is getting a lap band cheating? Is taking Ozempic cheating for someone who wants to lose weight because they don't want to put the time in, the discipline? You know, I don't know, but you can't just take a steroid and become a big person. You still have to work out. You still have to eat. You can't just, there's nothing anyone can do that they can take that just makes muscle appear. You still have to put the work in. So
what's steroid doing your body exactly?
Well, it depends. There's so many. I mean,
is it power, strength?
There's so many different. But basically helps with protein synthesis. It helps. You know, people will do steroids with growth hormone, which just promotes everything to grow. Helps with recovery, so that you can train harder, break the tissue down, and build it up faster.
Exactly, yeah.
Not the same as someone else. You might be able to train 2 or 3 times harder than the next guy who's not taking steroids, so that you can build more muscle faster. But again, it comes with health risks. It's really one of those things where you have to, I think, research it and figure out why you want to do it, and if it's right for you to do it. But that's all someone's own kind of idea of what they want to use it for, right? Like, you know,
okay. So is steroid is legal or illegal?
It's illegal in this state, depending on. So there's more. So you have these hormone therapy companies now that are popping up everywhere. It's becoming big. They're doing testosterone.
Is it when your doctor recommend you to do that?
Well, right. So these are guys that are like, hey, my testosterone's low. I got my blood tested and my testosterone's low. So I don't feel good. I don't have energy to do anything. So you go to the hormone therapy and they say, all right, we're going to put you on testosterone and this and that. And that's all legal. It's expensive, but it's all legal. There's certain steroids that are not going to put you on. I could name off 20 different steroids that they're not going to put you on, but what they are going to put you on is probably testosterone. They might put you on an anti-estrogen to help you from breaking out and, getting pimples and losing your hair and all that kind of stuff. They might do a little bit of growth hormone to help with muscle repair and joints and all that. But that's all through a hormone therapy that you need to go through. And I would say probably over the next 2, 3, 4 years, it's just going to be even more. It'll almost be automatic that you test men after a certain age for their testosterone level, just like you do with a woman, you know, with estrogen. Men need testosterone. So if your testosterone just stops producing, which it does as we get older, you need to replace it if you want to continue on and be healthy and be fit, or you just won't be able to.
Okay. A lot of young kids, they use it steroid now. Where do you find it if it's illegal?
There's a lot of stuff you can get on the internet. A lot of it's fake. A lot of it's not safe. It's not sterile. So there's a lot of kids getting infections. That's what I mean by being smart about it or being stupid about it. And if you're under 25, 30 years old, I don't know. I doubt that you've put enough time in to actually need it to try it. When I say whether you need to try it, let's say your parents' genetics they're small people. They're lean, they're small, they're not big people. Yeah. You got 2 brothers and a sister, they're little, they're all small and skinny. You're the only one that goes to the gym and you want to be 200 plus pounds. And you've been working out for 8 years now, doing it the right way, diet, everything is right. And you're 170 pounds and you just can't gain any more weight, but you want to break 200. Those are the people who are like, well, you know what? The only way I can do it is if I bump my testosterone up or I do a little of this or that. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong. That's their decision. I mean,
exactly.
But if you get a kid who comes in the gym and he works out for a year, and then he wants to take all this stuff. Well, yeah, you're not putting the work in, you know what I mean? You need to see where you can go without it. You might be able to, you might have great genetics and you don't need to do that stuff, you know, because now you don't have the health risk because there's health risks with it, you know?
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the bodybuilding. Do you think bodybuilding is a real sport?
I think so. I mean, you're not going to, I think one of your questions is what should it be an Olympic, right?
Yeah. Do you think one day you can?
Problem is at that highest level, there's a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
All the other Olympic sports are are tested.
Yeah.
How do you put a sport in that the professionals are all pretty much on some sort of a drug? It's kind of hard. You could do it natural, but I don't know that anyone's going to want to watch it. You know, because the difference between professional bodybuilders, IFBB, and all natural, it's night and day. It would be like Pop Warner football in the NFL. So I don't know how you ever put it in. People like to say, well, they're not. I mean, I can tell you that the IFBB is not a natural sport.
Okay, so
it's kind of one of those things that you'll have to just let it slide. You know what I mean? And I don't think that would go over well. I think that's probably one of the main reasons that you don't see it in the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's a tough one to put in.
What's your opinion different between old school bodybuilding, new school bodybuilding? Because new school
probably the cameras.
Big, like a monster, man.
Well, I think it's drug. There's a lot more drugs now. They use a lot higher combinations and a lot higher doses, I think, from some of the stuff that I've researched and read. Yeah. And I think it's inevitable that every year the bigger guy wins, and that's up to the judges. The judges keep pushing the bigger guy, and it just turns into a bunch of freaks, right? Look what happened with women's bodybuilding. They don't even have it in the Olympia anymore because they finally were like, it's not appealing. Well, you're the reason that the judges are the reason that it got to that point. If you started rewarding girls for looking more feminine but muscular, then everybody would have gone the other way. They would have toned it down and stayed within, a perimeter where they looked feminine still but had the muscle. But you kept rewarding the biggest girl until the point where nobody wanted to watch it anymore. Yeah. So unless they're gonna start saying, hey, look, we don't want the biggest guy. We want a guy that's got good aesthetics, small waist. And that's where classic came back in. So that's what the difference between classic bodybuilding but even that, from when it started to now, they're all so much bigger. So unless the judges start toning stuff down, it's just going to always be the biggest guy. Yeah.
Do you think that they should control the steroid use in the bodybuilding competition?
I mean, I think they try to say they do, but at the end of the day, it's about money, right?
Yeah.
And the freak show sells the tickets. Like,
Exactly.
you go, even if you don't want to look like those guys and you have no desire, you want to go look at them and just be like, wow. You know what I mean? A guy that's got 37-inch quads, like, you're like, just, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people, I don't think have ever seen a professional top 10 bodybuilder in person.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Like, when the first day I saw him, I didn't know. I was like, are those his calves? Like, I mean, it was like 24-inch calves.
Damn.
And it's like, you see it in person and you're like, you see it on TV and you're like, but they're around each other. So but when someone, if probably pro bodybuilder walked in right now, everything would shut down. We would be like, what is wrong with that guy? Like, people just want to see it. If you take all the drugs out, it's going to go back down. I'm not saying that's bad, but I don't see how it is any other way. You know what I mean? They'd have to tone down everybody and what they want them to look like. So
another thing that I ask you is about money. How about you to make money?
A lot of it's personal training. You start becoming a high-end bodybuilder, you can charge $100, $200 an hour. Some of these Mr. Olympia competitors, they probably charge $200 an hour on a personal training. Then they get sponsors like you had asked before. They get nutritional sponsors, clothing sponsors, all that stuff. They do photo shoots, they do appearances, and they make a ton of money. Because they don't make a ton of money on like NBA,
stuff like that. They don't make a lot of money like NBA players.
Yeah, no. I mean, they don't make.
But you sacrifice.
So the Mr. Olympia, I think, if you win the Mr. Olympia, which is the biggest show of the year, it's like $400,000 prize. But then you get all the endorsements that come with it. But you're not making money like pro athletes.
$400,000 for the winner.
Right.
What about another one?
The next guy down, it's maybe 150. So it's not a mainstream, really like a mainstream sport. So it's not selling those kinds of tickets. It's and then that Mr. Olympia is once a year.
Exactly.
The Arnold Classics once a year. Those big shows are once a year. So if you don't win that big show, you're making all your money on appearances and training people and endorsements through like clothing and supplements.
Okay. What was the future of the bodybuilding, your opinion?
I don't know. I think if you look at what happened with women's bodybuilding, that may happen down the road because guys are just getting so big, and there's a lot of guys passing away.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. When I was a kid, I don't ever remember so many guys dying, young guys dying. And again, that's where those drugs come in. Like the amounts they're taking and the pressure that's on them to be the biggest guy. They're taking more and more, and it's causing people to drop. So that's another thing people gotta realize. There's a lot of risk that comes with that stuff. So
okay, friend of mine asked me to ask you, is a woman, why bodybuilding pro have a small dick?
I don't know if that's true. I don't know that that's true.
She asked me to ask you, man.
I don't know that that's true. I can't say. I've never seen a pro bodybuilder. And maybe it's just because they're so big, it just looks that way. But I don't know. I'm not a pro bodybuilder, so I don't have that problem.
Crazy question.
Who was this that asked that?
Huh?
Who asked that? Was
a friend of mine. She asked me why guys so big in the small.
Tell her she's just messing with the wrong pro bodybuilders.
All right, man. Okay, we are almost done, man. Let's talk more about you. Your parents still alive? They live
my
here
mom.
With you?
My mom actually lives with me. I own a house here in Chatham, and the basement is made into an apartment. So
what's your relationship with your mom?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's good.
What's the best
advice? Kind of a crazy person.
What's the best advice your mom gives to you?
I don't really take a lot of advice from too many people. No. You got to be a pretty special person for me. I like to do things on my own, which again is not necessarily a good thing, but I'd rather just I can live with the decision and the outcome better when I made the decision on my own, whether it's right or wrong.
Okay.
If it's wrong, hey, I made it wrong. If it's right,
do I have a kid? Do I have a kid?
I have 2 kids. Yeah, 2 daughters.
2 daughters. Grandkid? No, yeah.
Good kids.
Okay.
Very good kids. They're not fitness kids.
No.
I think growing up, I spent so much time in the gym when they were little. They were like, I'm not going to the gym. So they're not fitness kids, but they're great kids. Never been in trouble. They do well. My oldest daughter is in my house, and my youngest daughter is in New Hampshire. So.
Okay. What do you do for enjoy life?
Oh, you see me on my motorcycle. I have a motorcycle, and I'm a big gun guy. I shoot. I go to the range a lot. Shoot guns.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's like a hunt deer, something like that.
I don't hunt. Yeah, I haven't hunted. I'd like to hunt because that's free protein
Yeah.
that I can put in the
natural
freezer.
protein, yeah.
Yeah, so if I could get a couple of deer, that'd be great. But I'm big into fishing. I got a boat. I do all that stuff. I'm an outdoor person.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. What a final piece of advice that you wanna give for young kids before you go?
As far as fitness, I would say discipline.
That one that looking for.
I would say discipline.
Muscle.
Discipline is the most. You know, you got to get in the gym on the days you don't want to go, and there's a lot of days that you don't want to go, and those are the days that make the difference, because it's easy to go when you're ready to do chest and arms, and but when it's the cardio day or the leg day, and guys don't want to go, or when they're a little bit tired, or everybody's partying that night and they're supposed to have a big workout. Those are the days that you got to get in the gym. So consistency, discipline, and nutrition. Those three things, if you can keep those going, you'll be great in the gym.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. It was fun.
Share your experience, your insight. Okay?
No, that's great.
I'll call you another day to another stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Okay.